Welcome, everyone. Namaste. Akasha here. Happy, happy day. We are having a beautiful day because the harmony that we're releasing as we're letting go of all of this fear, shock, and drama that you may be experiencing because of things happening in the planet. Uh, all of the things that happen outside of us are not required to have an effect on us, to impact us. That was kind of a combo of those two words. So I want to give you permission and freedom today to be happy, even if other people are miserable, even if other people want to fight for their limitations, and even if others around you or the news or whatever is speaking loudest. Turn down the volume, allow them to do whatever they want. It's what we've been talking about for years, right? And find your path. What do you want to feel? If you want to feel happy, you're the only one who can choose that. And yes, you can be happy no matter what. So welcome, Akasha here, Nana Akasha, and I tend to focus on empowerment. I tend to focus on how can you see where you are? How can you remember your powers? How can you connect to your ancient wisdom and your future desired life and co-create on a regular basis all the things. There we go. All of the things that happen in your life come from you. They're a reflection of you. There's no way for anyone else to project into it unless it's within you. So we're going to dive in today into part 2 of our sacred Mayan solar initiations and rituals that we're going to be doing in March. So make sure that you get in touch with me. You check this out very, very soon, very, very soon. Because, of course, I've had people who show up, honestly, like the last second. So it's quite shocking. But when you go and you say, oh, well, I have the ability to do what I want, if the timing is right, if all of the things are aligning with my heart, then nothing you perceive outside of you can keep you from that future except you. You could say, oh, it's not the right time. I should wait till my debt's paid off. I should wait till this person says it's okay. I should wait till I have more vacation at work. I should wait for this. I should get the approval for that. This is just going to show you how you're living your life. You are not the authority in your life. And the ancients had this impeccable power to be aware that they were divine and they were human. They were in this world, but not of it. They were walking in this world in this human suit, like an astronaut, as a conscious, divine, eternal being. So everything they did was to be in rhythm, okay? To be in movement in a measured, rhythmic way that is in harmony. Okay, harmony. So this is one of my favorite states, one of my favorite words, one of my favorite intentions for my life. So in the Wishes Fulfilled weekly class, which I highly recommend that you think about joining us, I'm definitely going to consider extending it because having this support consistently so you can go through your own rhythm, your own life, your own phases you're in, while also being in support of people and community and environment and advice that comes in support of where you are, that you're not alone and you don't get distracted down some hole of fear or exhaustion or old patterns or whatever it is for a really long time. We don't want to waste this moment in time. So the ancients are calling, the indigenous wisdom is coming up. More and more people are aware that these ancients were much more than we realized, that we're much older than we realized, that the wisdom and the technology, even though we perceive ourselves as so advanced, was so advanced. Because why? Because they realized that we are divine and a body. So the general culture on the planet that has been enforced and conditioned and taught for a very long time now is how you see reality. It is not truth. The laws that you were taught, the rights and wrongs, the this and that. I mean, what if you're someone who says, no, you shouldn't have any equal rights? Who do you think you are? I don't like you. I think you should have no rights. So I get to choose for you. Well, we've had enough of that. And the energies that look like they're writhing up and taking over and possessing people and expressing this pain, this anger, this blame, this guilt, this judgment. If you've been in my world, if you've been one of my students, you know that you do not go down to those states. You do not project that on anyone else. It's going to come right back on you. And it's a perpetuating, self-perpetuating cycle. You will never get out of war by having more war and judging people, treating people as less than in any way, shape, or form is a version of that. And it's also pushing and forcing. So the sacred wisdom that I love to tap into, to remember both going here for these sacred moments of the equinox or the full moon or the descent of the solar god of unconditional love and transformation, Kukulkan, whatever it is, whether it's in Greece or in Celtic or in Lakota or, Inca or Roman, whatever dressing you like, listen to the ancient wisdom, because the heartbeat of the truth of the wisdom that they understood is beating louder. You can commune with it. You can resonate with it. You can connect to it. And when you connect to it, you now have the ability to start to vibrate at a frequency. And hang on a second. Vibrate at a frequency that you have within you that you may not know how to tap into. You may not remember that you had. You have all kinds of wisdom. You've lived many lives. All those lives exist right now. So if you're in a library of time, if you like Akashic records kind of idea, if you're in a giant library of everything you've ever experienced, but everything anyone else has ever experienced in the reality that you're aware of. But there's also layers and layers. There's realities beyond realities and within realities and dimensions and interdimensions. And it's not just here and there. And so that multidimensionality isn't something we can define, scientifically measure, even though more and more they can measure things. So the beauty is that the ancients tapped into wisdom, science, math, architecture, engineering, technology, way beyond anything we could imagine someone in those eras could do without our big bad machines and whatever, and our science god. And if it's not science backed, if it's not FDA approved, then it's wrong. Well, that is the biggest lie anybody ever told. If you understood what's really going on there. And the underneath thing isn't to be afraid of it. It is to say, it isn't what other people tell me. I'm going to question everything. So the ancients knew that they needed to be a direct connection to the divine. They needed a direct connection to nature, to form, to Gaia, to whatever you want to call this world of form. And that they were of both of them. And that here, as a container for your divine blueprint, your divine soul, that you've gathered everything from the infinite field to become what you would like to become. You brought in fears from other lives. You're bringing up wisdoms. You've gone, oh yeah, here's what we want to do. Let's bring this stuff right now. And you came down and you're here right now. You don't need to know it all because it's in you. You don't need to remember it all. You don't need to worry about it. You need to chase it. You don't need to suffer. You don't need to be obligated to anyone else for it. You don't need to listen to anybody else's story about what your reality is. Yet that's the world we were taught to live in, and that it wasn't safe to have our own opinions. It wasn't safe to express ourselves. It wasn't safe to be different. So the purpose of collections of people, civilizations, families, and other is for mutual support and harmonious prosperity. Prosperity means that you prosper because the environment around you is optimal for you, ideal for you. It is the conditions you like the best. If you're a plant that likes snow, and you don't have snow, you're not going to be at your best. You're never going to prosper. You're never going to grow the most beautiful flowers. You may not even pop out of your seed at all. You sit and you wait dormant. We have that seed within us. It is sitting and waiting dormant. It is waiting dormant because what happens is that, like any other seed, it could just sit there, and then the floods come, then the light comes, then the right conditions come, the sun, the water, whatever, and it is sustained inside of a safe environment where it does feel safe, where it does have a foundation. This is what the ancients understood. I've studied so many ancient cultures from 3 different mystery schools of Egypt, 16 years in the Celtic goddess world, Mayan, Lakota Sioux, Greek, and so on. I've remembered so many other lives where I was actively involved in the spiritual daily activities. I was trained as an oracle, or I was in the priestess of Athena in Greece, or as a Mayan, I've had lives as a Mayan brother with Chris at Koba, where we would go in. We were learning the magical arts. We were learning the medicinal arts. We were learning the multidimensional arts, the priest and priesthood type of things. And it wasn't just the sacred priests that got to learn this. If you were a leader, a queen or a king, and they had equality in their society. So it's another reason to go to, the Mayans had equality, to go to a place where you feel the essence of that equality. Those people who lived with those beliefs, those people who walked every day in 2 worlds, those people that understood the heart of the sky and the heart of the earth. And I am the hologram, right, that connects the two, above and below, the sacred Vesica Pisces. So now, as you go through your transformation, as the earth is going through its transformation, as we are living through the most famous prophesized time ever, we're moving into the next stages of this decade. It's very important to have a bigger vision, that you're not just thinking about today and tomorrow and pleasing that person and how to pay this bill. If you live your life like this, oh my gosh, there's the opportunity. My heart's been waiting for it. If I get rid of everyone's opinions, fears about time, fears about job, fears about money, I connect to it. What do I think? What do I feel? What does my heart truly say? I want to hear what my heart says. Yes, I'm meant to do that. Excellent. Now, once my heart has made that choice, all I need to know is that I go to the end result. I start to see myself there. I start to feel, what would that be like if I was already had this degree, if I was already had been to this retreat, if I'd already learned this thing, if I'd already healed my body, or if the dolphins already freed me from my grief, or whatever it is, right? Then you're embodying the frequencies of that state, and that's your job. Going into how, where, when is only relevant when it appears for you. Okay, this is for me today. So what we want is, is we want the ability to say, I choose in this now moment, in every single possible way, what is optimal for me. And I am always in choice. So in the Wishes Fulfilled class, we're talking about the difference between knowing something mentally and knowing something spiritually. And that is the difference, because what we're doing is called embodied manifesting. You embodied what you want and you generate it. It comes from within you. The divine supports it. Everything you need flows through you. The keys and wisdom that's already in you, but you don't even need to know where it is, will come forward. This is more of an effortless, not like you do nothing, but more of a flow type of life. That's what this is about. Okay. The ancient Maya specifically built these very profound pyramids everywhere around here. They've discovered one 3 times the size of this one now. They're all over. You know, people think, how could they not know it was there? Everything's covered in jungle, is dense jungle, and the history of the Maya Yucatan Maya is not pretty. And so there was the conquering and the killing, and then there was the don't you dare come onto my land if you're not Mayan. And there was about a 50-year period where it was that way, which is nice because it preserved the land and the culture and the sacred sites. Now there's a new phase where the wisdom is rising from the stones, rising from the earth, rising into our consciousness, not just the Maya, but I can see the difference of what I was taught. That I don't think I was taught a single thing about Mayans. I didn't even know they existed or that they were still alive. And to, starting to realize what was here, to living with it, and bringing people here who literally didn't know there were pyramids or that the Maya were still living. So all these, doesn't matter what indigenous culture, what I see and what I believe and what I'm being shown is that we are one. We are the earth and the earth is us. Our body's made of earth. We are one. We are divine. We're everything. We came into this body with great intention and wonderful ideas about things we could be, create, and become. And I can promise you they have nothing to do with most of what you've done in your life. Not that you've done everything wrong. I was a fashion designer. I loved it. The business aspect and the other parts of it were for my personal growth, for my self-confidence, challenges to go through old patterns of family issues and on all kinds of things unfold through the life you've had. So it's perfect. And yet what I want you to realize is that within that is not who you are. You are not this damaged person who's had this checkered past of success and failure and whatever else. You're not standing on the side waiting for your good to come to you. You're not standing on the side being the one that doesn't get to go in the candy store. Okay. You are the one that needs to step into your life, and wherever you are, your spirit will take you, flow with you. The serpent this year is fluid, it's loving, it's feminine, it's divine. Kuku Khan is the plume serpent, comes down, the sun comes down, light, life force, your light comes down through you, layer by layer. Okay, infusing you with light, opening your chakras, giving you a chance to say, oh, I can be someone different. I do not have to follow these old patterns. I do not have to believe what everyone else is believing. I am going to live and walk in these two worlds myself, the heart of the sky and the heart of the earth. So ancient Mayan wisdom is so beautiful to me. It is difficult to find many of these cultures. It's difficult to find the truth. There's a lot of stories. Conquered cultures like this were conquered and were killed and were misinterpreted and were blamed, and then everything was rewritten by the priests and the friars who came in and killed everybody. So it's a bit weird to try to say, oh, and then if you come from a culture of kings and castles and tombs and men on horses are the most important and they get everything and it's all about them. So if there's a big, big building and it's really fancy and it's really big, it must be dedicated to some big, important man who took over the world and ran this place. So they came over and they called things like this the castle. At least they called Kulku Khan, but they call it the castle. It isn't a castle, okay? It's a pyramid. It's a sacred site. None of the sacred sites in any country were ever used as tombs, were ever used as tombs originally. Many, many people come through the ages to these sacred sites. They're all built on divine energies. So there's never a castle or a king and nobody's living in here. Believe me, when you go inside, there's not a lot of room. You don't want to live in here. There's no bed. There's no water. There's no toilet. There's no kitchen. Nobody lived inside of these things because the energies were very powerful. These were sites of personal healing, transformation, accessing higher dimensions, answers, oracles, seers, unfolding your mystical, magical powers. And that power was not for you to go off and conquer the world with some evil plot in your heart. It wasn't for you to sacrifice people. This was not the Maya. That was the Olmec and other people who came later, who got mad that they were told they could not do that, and then turned around and were part of the conquering culture that killed off the Maya who wanted to stay in harmony and peace. So when you hear stories, you have to do the same thing now. You hear a story, you don't believe it. You just say, oh, that's one person's perspective. Interesting. File it in the bookshelf. It isn't truth, it's a perspective. It's never based on knowing everything because you don't know everything and we don't know everything, which is why all the ancients understood when you study the stars and you are a reflection of above and below. And then your pyramids and your sacred sites are a reflection of those stars above. You start to live in harmony above and below. You're walking and trusting and knowing. You don't need to know the how. You don't need to because you're going to mess it up. You're going to work too hard. You're going to pursue it. You're going to worry. You're going to go to bed worrying about it. And then you're going to keep manifesting things that are blocking what you want. While over here, if you just let it show up, if you flow down from your spirit with the sacred serpent and you flowed back up, coming through every layer of consciousness. These are 9 waves of consciousness back to the top to unity. Go to bed, back into go to sleep, go to meditation, go into your intentional manifesting. You are the heart of the sky and the earth. You are Father Sky, Mother Earth. You are all those different balances. Duality is perfect and required, and so is polarity. So if you find within you, you're fighting some of the key principles of alchemy and spiritual technology that these ancient cultures gave to us, you're going to be finding it very difficult to hear this as it's speaking to you. Perhaps it's calling you to come to this retreat. Perhaps it's going over to another place that's calling you. Perhaps it's remembering. Perhaps it's watching videos. Okay, you can do any of these things. And yes, of course, going in person is always the most fabulous, but you can start by looking, right? Like right now, looking at this and allowing yourself to see and to feel the energies and tap into it. Then you can go past your fear of, should I come or can I come or will it be okay if I come? I'm going to go deeper into the Mayan thing, and there's something I'm being asked to share. So we were talking in our class yesterday about the idea that if you have something you want to do, but you perceive that there's things in your life that are in the way of it, what do you do? Can you have what you want? Is it okay for you to manifest that? So let's take an example. You want to come to this retreat and you have debt. You can replace the debt with, you have a job that won't give you time off. You have a family member or some person around you very close to you that would be mad at you or disapprove, right? Whatever, pick one of these very real to you, okay? Time, physical energy. I don't have a passport. Go get your passport. Please have that ready at all times. Why would you not want to do that? Opportunities are going to open. Things are going to change. You should be fluid. You should be fluid. Have a passport. Please have a passport. So now, what is it that you do with this? Because the rule is in your head. I have to pay that debt off first before I go pay for a retreat or incur more debt. Now, please do not misquote me. I am not telling you to go in debt. I am not telling you to get debt. I am not telling you anything. I'm telling you that energetically and emotionally is the creative force within you. And that when you say that, you will never go on anything. As long as that is your truth and your belief that that debt or whatever that is, we're just going to make it neutral and say that, oh, I don't want to do that to you. I know, baby. I'm like, this thing is blocking me. I'm going to do this because nobody wanted to play. So this coaster, if I don't take care of this coaster, if I don't do something to this coaster, I cannot go do anything else I want. And I'm going to carry it around right here in front of me because of what? Because of someone else's rules. Well, let's say that you have terminal cancer and you believe it and you decide that to live that timeline out. And you suddenly somebody says, I have the cure to cancer. And it's 100% guaranteed. And, all these other things. And it's actually really affordable, but of course it has a fee, and it's going to require you to go away for 10 days, and it's going to cost you a few $1,000s. Okay. So similar to the retreat, right? Would you do it? Would you borrow the money? Would you find the money? Would you say, it doesn't matter how much debt I have to go get this cure? What if it was your mother? What if it was your dog? What if it was someone else? What if you could save all women everywhere from ever being attacked again. If you just did this one thing, would you go figure out how to make it happen? Or would you stand there behind your little mundane rules saying, oh, I can't because I have that, and I can't because this person doesn't like it, and I can't because of that, and that, and that, and that. Okay. So the reason that I'm exaggerating it is to get you to really wake up. You're living in a world that you created, that you agreed to these rules. Do not admit to, do not agree to, do not accept, and do not say anything you do not want as true or real in your world. Okay. Thank you. Somebody's very intense today. Spooky? It is. Okay. So I've been hanging out with Senor Cuckoo Khan, our serpent god, for a long time now. And I call him Kulki. I give everybody a nickname. It's a very different kind of guide. I didn't really have a fear of snakes or serpents when I encountered him, but that is something that you have to face, because this year is all about the power of reaccessing your Kundalini, your ability to create, to be the creator. This is the most powerful opportunity you're going to have in the next 200 years to accept your true power, to reignite the life force that can come from within you. Okay. And so serpent energy flows through time, through space, through ups and downs. Kuku Khan, like I shared to you, make sure you watch the first show like this, is a representation of unconditional love. He comes down the temple through the descending God, that is you, bringing you down into your form, and then guiding you back up through all the states of consciousness. Well, if these layers of this pyramid represent billions of years on the bottom, okay, each one of them represents a long period of time, but just exactly the way that they've created them with sacred geometry, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. It's not because it looks pretty. Everything is built to very exact mathematics, aligned to the solstice or the equinox or to this or that over certain energies, and they get smaller because they represent a shorter time frame. So we started with this below, this bottom. Nothing was in form. The elements were created. All these things have happened, billions of years, so and so and so on. Oh, and then this form of life comes, and that form of life comes, and here we come in around the fourth level, and we have lived many, many of these top layers in our lives right now. That's never happened. It was not built. So you have to realize that you are not the novice. You are the future wise person in your own soul's evolution. And it's time for you to speak to the past wise people, the other wise parts of you. Come into integration, realize you're divine, you've come down, and you have guides like this. You're meant to just follow the path, shed, reclaim your feathers, open to your spirit, go to unity, descend, come back. Realize you do this every day. Okay. This is your crown chakra. These are the rattles, and yours is getting ready to grow. Do you want it to grow? So these retreats are always uber powerful. There isn't any way to really explain it. It's beautiful. It's loving. We're going to be going through the jungle to colonial towns and eating beautiful foods and staying at beautiful places and going to sacred temples. We're going to be at the Akbalam Jaguar temple. In front of the altar doing our Jaguar quest. Then we're going to be going to the one with the light coming through for your solar initiation. And in the afternoon, we're going to be here to watch the serpent come down. And all of these places we're doing activations. We're prepared. I am preparing you. We're doing sound healings. We're doing cacao ceremonies. We're going into caves. We're being rebirthed. This is a spiritual cocoon. Okay. And if you want to, after it's over, take a day of rest and come to the dolphin retreat, which is bliss and frequencies, and you'll just accelerate your healing. Okay. So when you go, this is the initiation we'll do in the morning. Third eye initiation, sunrise energy, very different. So I'm going to teach you more of the Mayan magic as it relates to you, to your peace, to your happiness, to your wealth, to your health. Okay. So now this is this site. Okay. And I'm going to go a little bit more into Chichen Itza in a second. But this site here, I was very blessed to take a small group of women who were preparing for a very big spiritual sacred event to this site. And I was so called to do this despite it looking like there was no way to do this. So I think maybe that's why I'm sharing it, is if you feel like, oh my gosh, I really meant to be here. This is so important. I can promise you that now is the time. So that question isn't relevant because you wouldn't hear it now. And if you're hearing it, you've allowed yourself to hear a message from your soul that you've been asking for at a different level. So there is a way for it to happen. And it doesn't require a whole bunch of stress and sacrifice and drama in your life. And that's why I'm going to be doing a call for anyone interested in coming to any of the retreats, including the Sacred Feminine, Goddess Magic, Celtic in the fall, or this, or the pyramid, or the dolphins, because this is a calling of your soul. This is an opportunity within the snake year to access ancient wisdom, to go to sacred sites, to receive initiations that the ancients did, to do it in a sacred way with me as the portal, and allow yourself to literally accelerate whatever it is you're healing, becoming, learning. It's beyond your ability to imagine. I can promise you. Okay. So these are below here. And if you're on the list at nanakasha.com, make sure you come over there, get on our email list. We'll be sending those to you as well. So this is the site. It's called Sibil Shaltun. And of course, that wonderful sun solar thing was not happening. We're not allowed in there in the morning. And it only happens on the equinox. However, we were there to do some very specific sacred work. What I can tell you is that the feeling, the emotion, the calling that I had, the visions that I had started to manifest within, especially one woman that crying from that feeling of, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm here. Okay, I did it right. I'm in the right place. I'm in the right place. Oh, this is exactly what I wanted. Thank you. Thank you. And I was allowing her to walk through. So I would walk them around, and we showed them the cenote and allowed them to connect. And there was a beautiful tree that looks like a dead tree that looks like a serpent. And we connect to all the nature. This is a place of great alush, nature spirits. There's butterflies and flowers year round here, very unusual ones. Portals to all kinds of nature dimensions. And so we went many different places around. And each place I was called to share something with each person individually. What were they experiencing here? How are the energies talking to them? That's the beauty of going here, because you can be in your own path. And later I could tell you what I saw, and then what you saw, and what someone else felt. So that's one of the powers of coming together. I know that if you're called here, we've been in other lives together. We've been in other schools together, sacred schools. And you and some of the other people who are called to this are also going to find that connection, that spiritual connection. Your consciousness gets raised at these sites. Your vibration goes up, not in the same way the dolphins raise our brains to bliss, and we're all like, I'm so happy. But you lighten up. You have places that are sacred healing energies. Certain places are more alive at different times. I go here a lot. I know a lot of the sacred spots. So when we went into the Temple of Venus this time, I felt something in a place on the inside that I had never felt. And it was because it was that day with those people in that way. So I want you to understand, whether it's this retreat or whatever you do, when you go somewhere in a sacred way, when you realize everything you do is sacred, that everywhere you go, you're emitting a frequency that is talking to everything around you. Are you releasing the fear and pain in these stones in the past of this place? Or are you tuning in and asking for the sacred, for the love, for the light, for the heart light of these wisdom? Are you calling to grandmother Ishmukane, who lives in the earth? Are you listening for Kukulkan, who was Venus? Even though Venus is a goddess, right? Venus is the sacred feminine. Venus is the morning star. And so Kukulkan, our plumed serpent that will come down, is related here. And when we come here for sunrise to have the solar initiation on the retreat, this is an initiation that the ancient priestesses and priests and other people who were on a sacred path, who wanted to live that life in a sacred way, came and they were trained for this moment. You are going to come and I am going to be all the way leading up to that equinox. We're going to be doing sacred things day by day, preparing. Our beautiful cacao goddess is going to bathe us, and we're going to spa cacao and clear our bodies, minds, and open our inner child to come forward. And we're going to be in a sacred cave in Chipalba, in the underworld, in the womb of the mother. And then we're going to have this beautiful music and this spa, and we're going to drink the medicine, the cacao, the seed. We're going to take that divine feminine into our hearts. We're going to heal our hearts. We're going to open our hearts. We're going to release into Gaia, in that sacred place, all that no longer serves us, so that we shed so beautifully on the equinox every step of the way through this cocoon experience, through this journey, that it unfolds and falls away, and it opens for us like this. It rises to meet you and it falls away and envelops you. This is the living embodiment of the sacred rhythm and movement of Mayan truth, what I call the blue heart of Mayan truth. So one lady, these stones here were really speaking to her. Another lady almost fell over of shock because there's a church behind us. Of course, you realize conquering cultures, they use the stones to build their own temples or churches on top of the things, and they took over the sacred centers. That's just normal around the world. It is shocking, but when you get over it. But it's this, just being here, the trees may speak to you. Certain birds came, these bright orange birds with black, and they tone with us sometimes. The butterflies might come. One person might see certain things. This is a place of mystical portals, stargates, openings, depending on when you're there, what time of day, who's there with you, what our intention is. Is the sun doing this particular energy? Is the earth energies doing that particular energy? So when we decide to go on a very special day like the equinox, this is not something you can ever duplicate. This equinox, there'll be other equinoxes. It won't be this one. So that's part of what you want to think about when you feel called to this or something else. Are you listening to your heart? Because does it mean that if you do this right now, you're going to come get the answers, the healing, the camaraderie, the love, the opening? You're going to go back with everything that is so powerful, healing, and embody it now. That from this point, from the end of March forward, your life is going to be moving down that new timeline that you wish for, not going, well, I'm going to pay more dues, doing my sucky ass thing, or I have to keep doing this until I can actually speak up and have what I want, or whatever. You do not owe anything to anyone. This is a moment to say yes to yourself. So I'm not going to share all the details of what happened for us, but we were doing all of these things, and we came to the Temple of Venus. I knew that I was meant to take them to the top, to where the grandmother dreamweavers, prosperity dreamweavers, the watchers came to me a year and a half ago, and to do a meditation to open the Stargate and to travel there. However, they've been, for some reason, they opened up an inner passage inside this temple, yay us. And so we've been going into it. And again, this is very powerful. You go inside of a temple, you go inside of the earth, you're going inside yourself, you're going through the veil into a different state of consciousness. So when people tromp around a sacred site and go, oh, look, take a picture, what are we eating for lunch? And then they leave. They haven't tuned in. They haven't received medicine. They haven't been blessed. They may have received key codes. They may have left key codes, because that can happen automatically, but they've missed the beauty. They've missed the power. They've missed the moment. They've missed the experience. They've missed everything that is living in that moment. And the ancient Maya understood that. I am the heart of the sky. I am the heart of the earth. The moment is the crossing of those 2 points. So when we enter this, and we're going to be doing this, the energies are always different, and I prepare you. I always prepare you. I talk to the land. I go many times beforehand. I am very, very careful to make sure that we are going in union with the ancestors, the energies, the stones, the current cosmic conditions, everything. And so this is me coming down. Chris was very gracious to take pictures, and everybody was coming in. So I had prepared everybody. I had already cleansed everyone, and everyone was taking their time coming through this channel. Now, behind me, before this picture was taken, there was a spot I walked through, and it was like whoosh, it was like flushed. It was like somebody vacuumed, like pushed an ejection vacuum out into the stars, you know. Whoosh. It was so powerful that I stopped and I turned, and I could see that this one stone in the wall was shifting frequencies. I was, not surprising, because we'd been here for about, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes by now, walking around, tuning in. Your frequency raises just going to these sites. So you're going to be at higher states of consciousness. You're going to be connecting to different things. And one thing that is wonderful about energy work, frequency work, understanding spiritual work, mystery work, is that you are the mystery, you are the creator, and everything is frequency. So you play a particular frequency, a tone, a rhythm, a music, you will see something different. You will hold something different. And even when we were in England, and I'm going to be doing super deep magical retreats with Maria in England, so make sure you check that out, is we were in this long barrel with a very back. We did ceremony. We're inside of this very cave-like place, almost like this. And there was a stone at the back. And she said, if you bring a certain type of instrument that creates a certain frequency, it will start to, the physicality will change and it'll open into a portal. And the biggest part of that structure has no door. Nobody understood why. That's why. So doors and portals literally within stone, within time, within dimensions. This is who you are. You're multidimensional. So it's very important that when you go through your mundane life, you don't just sit and stare at your mundane life. Oh, this person did that. That thing didn't work. I have this credit card, that car. You've got to check out of being solely in that. That is the mystical magic of the blue heart of Mayan truth that I have come to remember, to embody, to live within over the 9.5 years that I've been blessed to be here. So I turned, and that stone was very definitely sort of phasing in and out. I did my own work. I got different energies. And then I turned around and I told the ladies as they were coming, I said, right here, there's some very, very big cleansing energies happening. So before you walk through that, make sure that you're aligned with what's optimal for you. Maybe it's not optimal for you to have a flush, right? Whatever's optimally, these energies are intelligent and they're conscious, but they're like everything else in your reality. You're the manifester of your reality. What you're thinking, feeling, and projecting and believing is what's coming back to you as your reality. It's the same thing here. Here's a vortex of energy. I walk through it. I'm blessed. I'm healed. I come out. There's fairies around my head. Someone full of anger, pain, and blame walks through it, and they come out feeling sick and vomiting and getting a cramp in their stomach and thinking negative thoughts and running away in fear. All energies harm and heal. All energies can be used for good or evil or anything in between, whatever you want to label it. So you're the key to this and to every single thing you do. You are the wand. You need to attune your wand, your body, the ability for you to hold your divine essence within you, your ability to realize I am the sky and I am the earth and I am the connection point between the two. So there were some other things, some carvings. So we were doing different work. This is some of the work we do before we go deeper into the activation. So you can see different people processing these energies. And then look what happened. This woman we went all the way in and we were on our way out, and she went right up to the stone that I was explaining to you before. And Chris was just snapping pictures. I did not see this till later. We did not see it in person. This is exactly where I felt those energies. Look what happened in her heart. This is what happens. And I don't need this proof. However, this happens all the time in all of our retreats. I even have my Mayan and Mexica friends who do ceremonies for lots of people tell me, this is only you. We get this blue Mayan heart beating in the middle of a temple, or these big spheres of green and pink light coming down on us, or angel wings reflecting around us, or eyes, or all kinds of stuff. And unfortunately, the cameras today, they're smart. So they filter out a lot of these energies. Otherwise, you would see that you are surrounded with so many energies here. And that's why what you're tuned into, if you go in a sacred way, if you go in with love, if you go in with the intention that you're here to heal, and then you're here to carry the wisdom and the truth with you, you're not here to talk about the pain. You're here to be a channel to allow that pain to be released. That's how we enter sacred spaces. So you can imagine the joy, the bliss, There's a little bit of a close-up so you can see how distinct this. It's not just like, I think there's a polka dot. I always see that in my pictures. You can see this is distinct. It has shape. It has form. It has life. It changes. It is very, very, very real. So for her, you see, that's how powerful that was. 1 second. Okay. These things appear. Sometimes we catch them. And then we came out of that, and this was another form of rebirth. And this is before we now ascend the temple. So now we ascend the temple, and we're sitting up almost to the top. This is where I met the grandmothers, and we're getting ready to do our activation. And this is afterwards. Lots of crying, lots of sharing, and then we went to the top of the pyramid and blissed out. We were so blissed out. So this is the very, very top of the Temple of Venus, and you can see our frequencies went from crying, from bliss and happiness, and releasing pain and fear, and coming up, and this is the transformation that you get to have when you come to these. So it's really amazing. So let me see if I have the other ones here now. Yes. Okay, good. So I want to go back for a moment and to talk about the opportunity for you to give yourself for transformation that goes beyond your ability to understand with the mind, okay, what's happening, right? And I want to just check something. I'm not sure which one's which, so give me a second here. Maybe there's some in here. So this year is an opportunity, whether you even want to come to my retreats or not. There's something that your heart desires. There's a sacred experience. There's a beautiful experience. There's a loving experience. There's a empowering experience. There's something out there, and it's waiting for you. And it's calling to you. And it's the answers to everything that you've been asking for, everything that you've been waiting for. And in that way, it has the ability to hold answers, open shortcuts, doors within you, within your mind, within your mindset, within what happens to you. Jump to manifesting something now instead of saying, oh, it's going to take 3 years. Okay. Taking advice from outside of you, running it through your own wisdom, and not allowing yourself to be duped by anyone else's fears. And I mean duped because you can love someone and allow them to want what they want and think what they want. You can't tell them what to do anyway. But what you really want to do, sorry, I'll do this. You don't need us to watch this. What you really want to do is you want to be embodying who you are and how people are going to show up in your life. In your life, is everyone kind and supportive? Do people have warmth? Do the right people see you? Do you flow through your day feeling supported and loved? Is this part of what's happening for you? I don't know. So one thing is that I want to receive a message now from our Mayan Masters of Light. And what we talked about the other day, and I'm going to continue to share with you over and over. Let's see, we don't need that anymore. We're going to continue to share with you different aspects of the Mayan wisdom, the Mayan ancient principles that I'm pulling together that aren't like from a thing, but from my experience of studying with Mayan elders, working here, going to the pyramids, having people have experiences, going through reading books and books and books and trying to find what is the actual truth and what is someone's story and what is told from the perspective of that time or somebody's cultural perspective. You can't understand another one, right? Can you? So Brittany is definitely here, and I know that. And I got some very interesting downloads for you the last day or so. I actually, I'm going to invite you right now, any of you. At this moment, nobody's allowed to climb that. However, I want you to imagine climbing that. I want you to look at one of these pictures, and I want you to see yourself climbing it. I want you to feel yourself climbing it. Now, you can see that the stairs are small, so you can well, they're uneven because they're sacred geometry, but they're not like these huge, okay, 9 layers, okay? Those are too big. So this layer has many little steps. When you go through those steps, if you imagine that you are stepping onto it, you're connecting to the heart of that pyramid. You're weaving into the heart of the pyramid. You're weaving into the sacred jaguar. You're weaving into the temple. You're weaving into the wisdom from that is optimal for you, the ancients, whatever is here. And then you're going to step onto it and ask for this assistance of the divine sacred serpent and the sun to walk with you, to transcend with you, to guide you, to lift you. And every one of these layers, when we used to climb these, I would tell you to put your hand on that step, on one of those steps. Let's say there's 5 steps in one layer, and hold that intention energetically through your heart to connect to that pyramid. That pyramid is conscious. It's full of wisdom. Remember what we talked about the other day? It's full of sacred ceremonies that have happened. It's full of how many thousands and thousands of full moons and solstices and equinoxes that have gone through, all the different people who've done sacred ceremony here, all the different beautiful energies of the earth and of Gaia and of birth and rebirth. You can connect, but what you're doing is you're saying, I acknowledge this part of me, that I was a part of that time, and I unhook now any attachments that no longer serve me. And then you go to the next layer and you feel the same thing. And so as you're climbing back up, you're flowing. And I want you to feel and see yourself as if you are flowing like light. You're flowing up and you're inside of your beautiful guide, Coco Khan. You're inside this beautiful serpent of light. And it's effortless. You flow up to the next one and you rest there. And the unconditional pours around you, that love. And then you flow to the next step and you go, woo, you can go quickly, you can go slowly, just see yourself. And when you reach the top and you're standing in front of the temple at the top, that top layer is unity. And in unity, you can unite to anything. You are the infinite master of time and manifestation. You can connect to the heart of the sky, the heart of the earth, and be the heart of your reality, be the beating heart of the truth that you came. So what is the world that you came to do? Right? What is that? Okay. I want to share a video with you. I'm not sure I will be able to, but I will. I don't know where it is. Let me think for a minute. In the meantime, I want to share with you my Mayan, my current life, not one of my Mayan lives, my Mayan birth chart, like you can do a Chinese zodiac. Excuse me, I'm a metal rat. And, in tropical Western astrology, I'm a Sagittarius. And in the Maya, it's a little different. So I want to share with you to think about looking at yourself, the cosmos, your purpose, how you came here, how you connect to here. If you could see from a different perspective, you could understand in a more tangible way. Maybe it would make sense to you who you are, why you're here. So above us is the 0 point, the Milky Way. That's what the Maya believed. The 0 looked like a little shell or like a little UFO. That was their symbol. And it's He. And then they both look at when you were born, the day, and when you were conceived, and what were the energies of these 2 days, and how do these come together. So when you were conceived, it is about your spirit, and your spirit knows who it is. It doesn't doubt who it is. It is. Okay? That's something that one of my mind teachers recently really emphasized. Spirit is, spirit is, spirit is. Okay? It's not going, who am I? Should I go figure it out? Who do I ask? It is. It's I would call it spirit is embodiment. Now, you have certain energies that come for you in that and in your conception. And you also have the ability to tap into these energies. Mine are 13th month Mach, first day Khan. Khan is snake. So this is my conception, and this is what it says about my spirit's purpose. So I want you to think about, what if my spirit had a purpose and it wasn't to follow all the rules in my culture? I can still do that. That's fine. I can have nice things and buy a car and go out to dinner and whatever. That's fine. However, what if there's this big other place? There's a window I could look through. What if I could look through the window of the consciousness of people who watched the ages and prophesized thousands and millions of years out and understood these energies and tapped into them every day? What if that was something that could come into my life and take out the stress or the pain or the fear or the anxiety, or show me a new path, or show me how to be more present? So you have already within you encoded this beauty. So I feel very moved to share this with you. I hope that it inspires you. Your spirit came, this is what, your spirit came to earth bringing a great wisdom of how to transform your being and to help others do it. So my conception was conceived in the Mayan perspective of cosmos, reality for this life, was to bring a great wisdom and to go through having to learn that wisdom myself. Lots of ups and downs. Okay. And that wisdom is that I know from my spirit now, not because I just want to help people, that I love transformation, that I love mysteries, that I love finding the secrets and a better way and a simpler way and a more fun way and some other way of seeing it or playing with it or thinking about it or enjoying it or embodying it. It's not just for me. It's for all of us. It's for the greater good. So how to transform your being and to help others. Now, my birth date, I have the 8th month Mul, and it is a basket of seeds or pearls, and it means Dharma. And I was given, apparently I have suffered so many things in so many lives that I've now been given all the Dharma instead of the karma. I've lived through all my karma and I've been given my Dharma, which is all the jewels, all the pearls hidden inside of the pain. And it's been gifted to me for this life. It's mine if I want to tap into it. Well, what happens if you spend your whole life full of fear, your whole life thinking you're not good enough, or you have to stay with people who don't respect you, or you have to do a job you don't love, or you just whatever, okay? And you're constantly like doing what you like, maybe because I spent a lot of my life doing what I wanted, but feeling guilty about it at the same time. So I was getting to do what I want, but I was not fully embodying the energy that I really would have been optimal in it. So becoming a part of it more and more, full embodiment. That is very powerful to me, to be told that the divine, that the divine part of me, the divine part of this entire plan said, you've done the hard work. Now you get this basket and you get to open these pearls up and you get to use them and you get to share them and you get to play with them. To me, that has nothing to do with like, oh, goody, I'm going to be rich or have a bunch of mansions. And if I have more houses, great. I don't know. It's the pearls of wisdom that I want. I want the power for manifesting, for transforming, for traveling time, for remote viewing, for living fully, for not letting anything outside of me have the authority, for creating a reality of love and light that I want to invite other people into, to live in harmony, peace, and joy. So the day is 11 Ish, and Ish is sacred feminine, and it's a representation of the grandmother Jaguar. So there's so much wisdom here. My Jaguar medicine, the grandmother, she lives in the earth, and grandmother Ish Mukane. So what this means is the grandmother Ish Mukane is guiding your life, ready to receive all your gifts, spiritual awakening, health, balance, and seeds to help humanity. You are mature, you are ripened, You are ready. Now is the time. And this is the part of my light body. So the spirit part was the first part I told you. And this is the soul and the body fusing together to become that container to take the spirit. Same for you. So I'm going to go ahead and see if we have any other wisdom to come through. That felt like really what I think was powerful to share. And of course, that's my particular reading, but those symbols could be part of your chart. I don't know. However, what I wanted to share with you was this, both the simplicity and the depth and the very different perspective that the ancient Maya saw time. They had many calendars. They saw them interlocking. They have a spiritual calendar. They have an earth calendar of the earth and calendar of the sky, some people call it. And they understood that these things, everything moved in a different pace and a different timing, yet they were all interconnected. So when you have that happening in your life and you're not trying to be one thing, you're not trying to please one person or to fit into one idea of who you are fluid. And it's time for you to flow down deeply into this moment, embody yourself, and then let the wisdom, let the guides help you rise back up and come to that place where you realize, oh, yes, I am divine. That's the temple at the top. And I am human. And I can meet and I can travel and I can communicate and I can have all the support and the love from the heart of the sky and the heart of the earth. So, yes, these are in the Yucatan, Nathan. This is Chichen Itza. And the other one, I'm not sure what I showed. The other one is called Sibil Chaltun. It's very close to where I live in Merida, which is further west into the jungle and about a half an hour from the North Gulf Coast. And they're everywhere, all around here. So on my retreats, I typically take people to ones that are less visited. We try to get private access. We try to go for sacred reasons. We always do our own activation. I like to find the ones that a lot of people don't go to on a general basis because they're more pure. There's less energy there. However, this one, I have never taken a group to because this is the most well-known, this is the most famous. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is considered one of the wonders of the world. And of course, on the equinox, when this famous thing happens and Kukulkan, the solar serpent, comes down, you will get people, of course. However, so normally I'm like, no, we're not going there. We're going to do our own thing. However, we've been called to, on the equinox, go to the first temple with the light that is very unknown. Very few people know about it. I'm extremely blessed. I was like 3 years, I was trying to get in, and between the pandemic and other reasons, it wasn't opening. So I have been able to experience that. And that is our sunrise initiation. It is a solar initiation, just like I was saying earlier. That was a site of initiation for priests and priestesses and other sacred people, medicine people, and so on, who need to understand that you are divine and you are earth. So you're going to these places that have this history, and you're going to actually get to receive these very sacred experiences. So we're going to go in the afternoon. After we do that, we're going to go over here. And we're going to have a beautiful Mayan, Tortuga is his name, and an elder Mayan guide anybody who wants to go around the site. We've got already arranged people who are going to save our seats in the perfect spot to see the solar descent. And we will be staying right there next to the pyramid that night. And the night show, which is an opportunity for a third pyramid experience that day, if anyone wishes. So before the day before this, we will be doing the Jaguar Temple and a Jaguar Vision Quest. The day before that, we will be doing our heart opening ceremony in the caves and the cenotes of the Sacred Mother, rebirthing with our cacao goddess. All right. Then after the the equinox, the next day, we will be heading from Chichen Itza to Puerto Aventuras, which is a beautiful beach town, gorgeous beach town, south of Playa del Carmen, and we'll be staying there for the rest of the retreat and also for the dolphin retreat. And it's a beautiful private gated community right on the ocean where we have the dolphins and we can walk to beautiful restaurants. And we're going to be having an incredible sound healing in a sacred cenote with the gongs and this incredible healing team that I found. I'm beyond myself. We did it the first time a year ago, and it is totally worth it. I'll share a little bit more with you around that. But everything is designed to not just like, let's go look at this, and then you'll have time to walk around Valladolid, which is a beautiful colonial town. We'll stay there, and you'll have beautiful lunches and Yucatecan food and organic vegetarian food or whatever you want. So all of those things are there, but we're moving in a sacred way so that where you are coming and awakening the land, you are bringing the truth within you. We don't know what you have, but you may be dropping little key codes, little conversations from your past, your history, your mind, I don't know, into these places. Wherever you go, you're going to be receiving medicine, messages, you're going to have your healing up and downs. And then our very last day, we will be going to the Xibalba temple in Sac Bay jungle for our Mayan ceremony. And I'll share more about that. But below, if you go look at the Mayan retreat ones, you'll see that's where our ceremony team of Mayan and Aztecs, they dress up in all the beautiful feathers and the Jaguar and everything else. And we're creating a very special. I always work with them to come up with the topic for it. And it is a beautiful way to close out, and we'll swim in the mermaid cenote. And then we have our beautiful cacao goddess coming to our beach condo to prepare us dinner that final night. And then there's a rest day, and then we have 3 days of dolphins, animal communication, and light body infinity light weaving training. So right from the same place, and you can come to both or either one. Oh, good. I am ready. I desire to stay in willing and move forward with courage. So why don't you just go there and stand there? And then you don't have to be willing and you don't have to have courage. You can just be there enjoying what you're going to do. That's the way to create it, because willing is still, it's outside of you, right? Pearls of wisdom. I'm on fire for this wisdom and the freedom that I get to embody here and now. Yes, my spirit has big purpose. Oh yes, big purpose, big purpose. So many people are really, we don't realize the magnificence and the magnitude, I think, is really the word, right? My body has chills as I visualize. Oh, good. Oh, good, good, good. See yourself there. Absolutely see yourself there. Reach out. Hi, Inga. You're so welcome. May you explain how you were activated that you remember all you were? Oh, that's an interesting question. Wow, I'm going to probably return to that at another show, but it's a process, right? And I'm been around a while. So right now, people who are waking up or who are getting called deeper into their multidimensional nature, to understanding who they are, it's going very, very quickly. But I was not maybe quite 40 years, 38 years that I've been having this. So basically it's life falls apart, or what I call a deconstruction. So my business closed, the economy went bankrupt, department stores, no one paid me. I was very tuned into the muggle world, the regular world, and I thought it was horrible and I was a terrible person, and I went into a deep depression. And then I had no spiritual or religious upbringing, so I had no clue exactly what to do about it. I just thought, well, I was living in LA, and they were making fun of Shirley MacLaine at the time because she came out with her first spiritual book. I didn't even know what they were making fun of because I didn't know any of it. But I went and I bought the book, and then I started going to the Bodhi tree, and I started just looking for things that were really weird and unusual. Like I saw this little old book called Channeling Dolphins from Another Planet. I didn't even know what channeling meant. You have to realize this is pre-internet. Okay, so very few places to find this wisdom, and yet the path opens up for you. And the more you see, like this retreat, for example, if there's something here, it could be a certain site. The whole combination will have a transformative effect and a very positive and empowering effect on your life. And you'll go home in whatever your state is. However, excuse me. However, different people will be like, oh, this thing that happened here, that just was the key. That was the turning point for me, or when we did this over here, or that led to this. So everybody has a different resonance to what comes at what time. But if something calls you, what I did learn along the way was I was just like, well, what do I do now? You know, what's next? I don't even know what to do. And I wanted peace. So I started to learn meditation. And the more I learned meditation and flower essences and animal communication, and was working with animals as a pet sitter, as I didn't like people. These doors opened, you know, softness, sweetness, love, unconditional love flowed in through animals. And I, communicating with them, wanting to learn more healing, not even knowing really what does that mean, what's energy healing. I didn't know what it meant, but it was on offer through animals to me. I learned Tellington touch on horses, dogs, cats, and then humans. And then I met several animal communicators who I studied with. And then I studied radionics from there. And it was those doors, when you say yes, then another door opens, or multiple doors open, or you meet multiple people. So if you feel called to this, there's something, and we don't know exactly what it is. The first retreat I ever did, this man came, I didn't know him, and he contacted me and he said, I feel really called. We walked through his fears so that he could come, because his friend wanted to come and pay for him and he didn't want to receive that. He felt guilty receiving someone paying for his trip. So he wasn't going to come, even though swimming with dolphins was a lifelong dream. So there's another example of how we can have these rules that the universe offers you what you want. And you say, no, it has to come a different way. I'm not okay with that. It has to be different. You know, it's like, you really have to get underneath that energy, because that's just a story. So anyway, he did come, and he said that at the end, he said, you know, the dolphins, of course, are you kidding me? Fantastic. He said, but what surprised me was, my favorite thing was the Jaguar. When I led the Jaguar Vision Quest, it was the most powerful experience he'd ever had. So you never know, right? You never know which of these things. And so you may come here and answers to something you're not even thinking you could get right now might happen. You might leap 5 years into the future and skip over a whole bunch of drama that you are kind of in alignment for with certain people or jobs or other things. You change. These are portals. These are stargates. These are places for you to jump through time, to go into your past, see who you were. We have all the Mayan sites we can visit were seeded by the Atlanteans, and their first god goddess, Itzamna Inishel, are Atlanteans, and they just wrote that. I mean, that's normal to them. They don't think that's weird. Okay, and they have people carved everywhere, flying little machines coming, you know, and they understood that this is what it is. So the Atlantean technology here, the Atlanteans, the wisdom, the magic, the waking up of the crystal technology, crystal consciousness, I would say, of the Atlantean era, is definitely awake here. So almost every single retreat I've ever done here, that there's something happens. We used to go to Koba. At night, I'm tuning in, I'm talking to the land, and I see these huge white beings sitting on the top of Koba Pyramid, which I had permission to go to early, before people, at the sunrise, and so on and so forth. So I'm not sleeping the whole night before. I'm communicating to spirits in there. I'm asking everything to, you know, to welcome my group, to protect us, to all whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I keep seeing these enormous, they look like big marshmallow shapes, you know, like just big round light beings. And so on the way there, it was about an hour and a half drive, and we're up very, very early, because we're arriving at 6:30, and we're driving through the jungle, and I'm continuing to tune in, and I keep still seeing these people, these beings, and I thought, wow, I wonder what's going to be like when I get there. And we get there, and we have these little Mayan taxis, which is a guy with a bike and a seat behind him, right? And so I rent them, because it's a very, very big jungle, and they whisked us off through the jungle, and it's still dark, and there's a mist, and it's just like mystical, and we're going, and we arrive at the bottom of the pyramid, and I come out, and I walk out of the trees, and I look up at the pyramid, and they're standing there, those enormous white light beings. It wasn't only an etheric vision, right? It wasn't only me seeing them in spirit, right? And because there's spirits all over, there's energies all over, right? It's what do we see? And then another person saw them. And when we finished our activation, we had all gone to Atlantis through the pyramid, and we had all seen what we did there at a certain point. One guy was a gardener now and a landscape artist, and he was back then. And then he had this new wisdom and understanding of how to work with the land and talk to the flowers as a consciousness, and a very different perspective on what that job is. Like it's being a guardian, it's being a healer, it's being all these different aspects, you know. So there's a really beautiful unfolding that happens. You don't want to jump into everything because right now there's too much information out there. There's 80 million people trying to sell you a course and shoving it down your throat and paying for professional marketing, really good at NLP. And so you want to give yourself a little bit of time, step back from everything. Okay, is this right? Yes, go into your heart like we discussed. And no, but if you really feel called to something, there is something, right? There is a reason, and it's always going to be good. But if you come, so I had someone who was I could see them at a retreat, and they had certain fears about traveling, and they had certain fears about their health, and they kept saying, "Oh yeah, I want to come, and I see myself, and I blah, blah, blah. But what if my health gets worse? What if I have a health problem? I am so scared my health's going to have a problem." So what manifested was not going to the retreat, but manifesting a health problem even before that happened, and removing the ability to do anything for a few months. So you are powerful. And you can prevent yourself from doing these things as well. So I don't know whether I have this on the um, slides, but I'm going to, since we've gone long anyway, I'm going to just relax in now and share the Mayan prayer of the 7 directions. So when you come on my retreat, we give you a manual with information about these different places we're going, the different symbols, the different meaning of the gods, goddesses, the temples, the ceremonies. We give you the Mayan prayer of the 7 directions. So it's like calling the directions, if you're familiar with that. It's a little more beautiful. I like it very much. And I do have a little bit, I tweak it a little bit here and there. However, if you want to tune in, oh, you're so welcome. Thank you. Let me see. Um, there it is. Oh, okay. I'm going to share this with you. I've been talking and people have been asking me about the pictures of when, I guess it's this one. Yes, okay. Of these sites. So the one that I talk about is often this one. So this is where we all had a past life memory. This was my very first retreat. We'd been up on the top of the big pyramid and done our thing. Everybody ended up here together. One lady was feeling pain. One lady was passing out from fear. We all went in and realized we were in a school there. And so I sat down and started to do work, started to walk around outside of my physical body, looking at the different timelines. We were there. And you can see those spheres of light that started to appear above us, white, green, yellow. And then this happened. So they descended more and more. And then this fuchsia. And this lady walking around was just snapping pictures. She wasn't seeing it. This is what happened in Egypt. You can see all the little flower of life spheres everywhere. This is a little bit of what some of our ceremonies look like. There, some of our cenotes. And okay, so I really wanted to see if I could show you that. I like that idea. All right. So I'm going to read it for you. And while I share the pictures of our cacao ceremony spa deep but within Madre. Yeah, here we go. So this is Michelle, and she's our cacao goddess. She makes everything, roasts it. This is her grandmother's metate that she's grinding the cacao on. She makes us chocolates, foods, teas, drinks. We rub it on our bodies like spa. It's a whole experience. We have a pre-Hispanic music going. There's the little gold painted chocolates. Here's the entrance to our beautiful cave. You can see everybody with their, It is really, truly beautiful. And this is our very first experience that we will be having. Then we go into the water. And this is a different one here. So I'm going to go back here. This feels like the beautiful one. Okay. We give great thanks for this beautiful gathering, and that today, that the ancestors and the sacred wisdom of this beautiful land of the Maya and all the ancients throughout time and space have come forward to share their wisdom, their magic, their beauty with us. We receive it into our hearts with great gratitude. We receive the medicine of the beautiful cacao goddess, healing the heart, warming the heart, nourishing the heart, allowing love to flow freely in and out, expanding and growing. And as we call this circle to a close, we call to the east, the house of light. May wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, the house of the night. May wisdom ripen in us, so we may know all from within. From the from the west, the house of transformation. May wisdom be transformed into right action, pure heart, so that we may walk the path of our highest love, harmony, and power. From the south, house of the elemental sun, the fire of the sun, the eternal nature that is within us. Bring us the light that we may grow our harvest strong, tall, and abundant, and reap it and enjoy the fruits of our planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, we accept your blessings to pour down upon us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of your crystal core bless us with harmonies to bring peace, love, harmony, inspiration, reverence, joy, gratitude, and bliss. And from the center, within me, the galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. In Lakech Alakin, I am another you, you are another me. We are one. Walk in peace. Namaste. Ciao, everybody. See you. Yes, traveling this world and doing this work. I can't tell you how happy I am. Dreams come true, just nonstop. Follow your bliss.